All right, my sweet and precious students, I hope you guys are doing fantastic. I wanted to get into lesson 13. Today we're going to be talking about common factors, the greatest common factors, and multiplication word problems, which is kind of like what we were doing with those division word problems. Okay, so we're going to try and find the greatest common factor and for different problems, okay? So guys, I'm gonna stress to you the importance of listing out your factors in this way that I'm doing it. I promise you, do it in this method because it will come up again in algebra and it's gonna be a problem. So maybe you've heard in the past, like you get 12 and you're told, okay, list all the factors of 12. And you go like, okay, 1, 2, 3, 4, 6, right? And you're like, okay, I've listed all the factors. This is a really common way to make a mistake. So I don't want you to list it like this. If I ask you the common factors or all the factors of 12, what I want you to do is list it like this. Always start with your easiest one, 1 times 12, okay? I sometimes use an X, sometimes I use a dot, I switch between the two. After 1 comes 2, 2 times 6. After 2 comes 3, 3 times 4. After 3 comes 4, 4 is already on the board, we are done. 4 is already up on the board, we are good. You go in order, okay? Let's talk about, for example, 48. This is a big one. And guys, you should be writing these down because you're gonna do factors from now until forever. Also, guys, if you don't know your multiplication tables, this is gonna be the biggest pain in the butt that you will ever believe. Like, you are gonna be racking your brain. I'm okay with you using a calculator for this because otherwise you're gonna be doing it for hours. But really, it's a good idea to memorize those multiplication tables because otherwise you are gonna be held down in algebra. You're gonna be so slow that you're gonna see me go, oh my God, I'm gonna dramatically fall on the floor and be like, this would not take so long if you memorize those, okay? So for 48, we start with our easy one, 1 times 48, okay? After 1 comes 2, 2 times 24. After 2 comes 3, and remember, 8 plus 4 is 12, and 3 goes into 12, so 3 is also gonna go into 48. We do 1, we get 3, we get 18, we get 9. 9 times 3 is not 18. Let's try that again. How about 6? 6 times 3 is 18. So 3 times 16. Good, okay, so after 3 comes 4. 4 times 12, yeah, okay. 12 times 4, we would get 8, 48. See, even I question myself every once in a while. After 4 comes 5. 5 does not go into 48 because it would end in a 0 or a 5. After 5 comes 6. 6 times 8 is 48. After 6 comes 7. 7 does not go into 48. After 7 comes 8, and 8 is already on the board, so we are done. We have listed all the factors and we have not forgotten any, okay? So this is really important you do it this way. All right, finding the greatest common factor between some problems, and it's better if I look at this. Okay, find the greatest common factor, and you can totally abbreviate it like that, between 72 and 90. 72 and 90. All right, so guys, you will want to use a calculator for finding these factors just because you're not going to know your factors. You're not necessarily going to know your multiplication tables this high. With that said, you shouldn't be looking them all up. It'd be a lot faster if you knew your multiplication tables. So 72, start with the easy one. 1 times 72. 2 times, and we know 2 goes into 72 because it's an even number, right? Half of 70 is 35, half of 2 is 1. So this is gonna be 2 times 36. If you saw how I did that mentally, otherwise use a calculator. 7 plus 2 is 9, so we know 3 and 9 are both gonna go into here. 3 times, and you can do the long division or you can just divide. You'd think by doing this, I've been doing this for 15 years, I would have these memorized, and I don't know why I don't. It's 24, which makes sense because 3 days is 72 hours and 1 day is 24 hours, right? So we're multiplying 3 times 24 hours. Let's see, after 3 comes 4. So we do 72 divided by 4, and we get 18. After 4 comes 5, 5's not gonna go into there. After 5 comes 6, and we get 6 times 12, okay? After 6 comes 7, 7 won't go into there because 7 times 10 is 70, so, and 7 times 11 is 77, so 72 is not gonna go in. After 7 comes 8, so we get 8 times 9, and that will give us all of our factors. After 8 comes 9, 9's already on the board, we are done. There's all of our factors. Let's try 90. 1 times 90. 2 times 45, 3 times 30. After 3 comes 4. Let's just double check. This is why it's okay to use a calculator. Nope, 22.5 doesn't work. After 4 is 5. 5 will because it ends in a 0, right? So we get 18. Guys, I'm using a calculator because I panic and I assume that I panic and I get the wrong answer. So I want to make sure that I don't do this because I'm recording it and then you'll come into class and you'll be like, lady, you are crazy, you got the wrong answer. So after 5 comes 6. 6 is times 15. After 6 comes 7, and that does not go in. After 7 comes 8, and 8 goes into 80 and 88, but it's not going to go into 90. So after 8 comes 9, 9 times 10. After 9 comes 10, 10's already on the board. Bam, we've got it. All right. So finding the greatest common factor between those. Start at the back side for both of these and see if you can find the largest one. Looks like 24, no, 18. 18 is our highest one that we have in common. The other ones that we have in common are 9, 9, 6, 6, 3, 3, 2, 2, and of course 1. But we're looking for the greatest common factor, so that is going to be 18. So basically you just list out all your factors. This may seem tedious and like you're doing it and you're like, oh my gosh, this is so repetitive. Guys, it's going to be really helpful when you get into algebra to know all your factors. All right, so multiplication word problems. Let's do a good example here. Harriet's score in the second game was the product of her first game score and 25. If Harriet had scored 4,025 points in the first game, how much did she score in the second? So let's go back and rewrite that and use some of those words that we know to put that into math, right? Harriet's score in the second game was the product of her first game score and 25. I'm going to say let X equal second game. Let F equal first game. Okay, I'm going to use X instead of S because it's just easier. So knowing that, I've created a key here to help me. Harriet's score in the second game was, and remember the words was and is are the same thing, and those mean equal. So Harriet's score in the second game, X, was or is the product of her first game and 25. Guys, product means multiply. So F times 25 gave us that second game, okay? If Harriet scored 14,024 points in the first game, so first game, remember, is F, X equals 14,025 points times 25. What did she score in the second game? X equals, guys, it's totally okay if you want to use a calculator. Just make sure you know how to multiply, and we can talk about that in class if you have any questions. So if we multiply on this, it is 350,625. 350,625. Good. All right, so guys, the practice problems are on page 49, and they are about halfway down, or towards the bottom. It's A through C. Go ahead and pause the video now, see if you can do those, and then come on back. All right, so for A, 12 and 30, common factors. So we're gonna list the common factors for 12 and 30. Let's start with 12. 1 times 12, 2 times 6, 3 times 4. After 3 comes 4, 4 is already on the board, so we're good. 30, 1 times 30, 2 times 15, 3 times 10. After 3 comes 4, 4 does not go in, but 5 times 6. After 5 comes 6, 6 is already on the board, bam. Let's find our common factors. 1, 2, and 3, 1, 2, and 3, 4 and 6, 6, yes, not 12. So the common factors are 1, 2, 3, and 6. Your common factors are 1, 2, 3, and 6. Excellent. So for B, find the greatest common factor of 18 and 60. 18, finding the greatest common factor, 18 and 60. 1 times 18, 2 times 9, 3 times 6. After 3 comes 4. 4 times 4 is 14, so no. After 4 comes 5. That would have to be a 0 or 5. After 5 comes 6. 6 is already on the board, so we're done, right? We're done. 1 times 60, 2 times 30, 3 times 20. And this is where it's okay for a calculator because I don't want to make a simple error. 4 times 15, 5 times 12, just to make sure. I don't know why I second guessed myself. Yes, 5 times 12, 6 times 10, right? After 6 comes 7, no. 8, no. 9, no. 10 is already on the board, so we're good. The greatest common factor with these. Let's look at these, 18, 9, and 6. 18, no, 9, 6. I got 6 here and 6 here. Bam, our greatest common factor is 6. Greatest common factor is 6. All right, let's look at C. So for C, we've got inflation caused the price of everything to increase. The price of an item after inflation was 4 times the price of before inflation. So if an item cost $5.67 before inflation, what did it cost after? So let's go back and use some variables to kind of help us with that. The price of an item after inflation was, and was means is, which means equals. So that's A for after, and it helps to write a key. A equals after inflation. B equals before inflation. So the price of an item after inflation was 4 times, and times means multiply, the price before inflation. If an item cost $5.67 before inflation, what was it after? Times 5.67. So on our calculator, let's go ahead and do 5.67 times 4. We get A equals $22.68 after inflation. All right, guys, if you have any questions, let me know. Otherwise, fantastic work, and I will see you in the next lesson.